Sauvage. Dior.
Welcome to the ACC Big Ten Challenge, presented by LG V20 at the Xfinity Center in College Park, Maryland, and Pittsburgh at 5-1 against the Beltway's best ballers so far in 2016. Maryland a perfect 7-0. Glad to have you with us. 2 games down. A win for Florida State and a win for Northwestern in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. It's Maryland, Melo Trimble's team this year, Doris Burke, and he's showing it in the last couple games.
Well, he was not far from Broadway, and he played like the star that he is. How do you follow up a career-high 31 against a Richmond team that was game and put you into overtime? It seems like the bigger the shot, the bigger the moment, the better this guy plays. Will you follow up that career-high 31 in a possession game against Kansas State with that game winner off of flat ball screen at the top? This is a challenging matchup for Pittsburgh.
Melo Trimble led the team in scoring last year, doing it again this year. 21 points a game on the Wooden Award watch list as well. Here we go. DeMonte Dodd wins the opening tip. And Trimble and the Terrapins control at home. Dodd goes cross court, and one of the very versatile freshmen in Canada's Justin Jackson opens the game with a corner 3.
3 freshman starters for the Maryland Terrapins. They're talented and they're fearless.
Artis and Young, 2 seniors in this lineup, very important. Young inside the arc, does not connect on the first shot.
Let's go! Going to get an offensive foul on DeMonte Dodd for displacing the defender. That gets the student section fairly riled up early.
Well, Dodd is back into the starting lineup. Last game returning for the first time in 3 games after a concussion against Towson. Kept him sidelined. An important part to have back out there, 6'11", 250. And it's quickly a 5-on-4 as Cowan had hit the deck. Tchaikovsky with the rebound for Maryland as the Terps run. Trimble. Got it.
Like the Cardiac Kids, 5 of their 6 games, they have won by 6 or fewer, and they've needed late second-half rallies. So if you're Mark Turgeon, you're very happy about the start.
3 on the outside. Young gets a good look from 3. 4 of 10 from deep coming into this game for their leading scorer.
So Trimble is the hard matchup for Pittsburgh. They have great size, not a great individual matchup for him. Michael Young is a matchup problem for a lot of teams.
Part of a starting lineup for Maryland that on paper averages over 6 feet 6 inches. In reality, probably not quite as close, but still a pretty big starting 5. 5 on the shot clock and a late hoist. No good from Jackson. Young has a big-time mismatch, but has it poked away. Jackson got a hand on it. Now Trimble's in a fight for it on the floor.
So Maryland doing a very good job. You're seeing a Pittsburgh team that will play both man-to-man and a 3-2 zone, and the ball changes sides of the floor. Look at how long the closeout is, and this is why you're a difficult matchup on that side. Michael Young taking their big center away from the rim and making him guard from distance.
That's going to be another question, too. Jamel Artis as to who can step in front of the 6'7", 215-pound guard from Baltimore.
Artis and Young, 47% of the field goal attempts for Pittsburgh coming between their talented forward tandem. 1 a point forward, that's Jamel Artis, who just took that one away.
Too big for the pass from Herter. Gets a little forearm shiver in the lane, and the floater falls for Artis.
You can see he's got size. He's playing the point guard position at the height you mentioned. He's got a handle that's tighter. He's made the adjustment look easy so far.
Cowan on the drive, lobs it up, and that's become a familiar look for the Terps as of late.
Mark Turgeon at practice yesterday said he wanted to see that exact play at least 5 or 6 times where Cowan gets a paint touch and the lob to the big.
Tchaikovsky, 16 points last time out. He's late to contest, and Young nearly had the 3 fall. The last bucket ended a 7-0 Pittsburgh run.
You see in their man-to-man, because of their like size, Pittsburgh will switch virtually every screen 1 through 5.
Trimble on the drive. Jackson again from the corner. Loose ball was in and out of the hands of Trimble. And about 4 minutes gone. A fast-paced game. Justin Jackson's got 6 for the Terps with a lead at home.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by the all-new LG V20. Life's good when you play more. And in part by United Airlines. Introducing Polaris by United, the business class experience redesigned.
When it comes to healthcare, seconds can mean the difference between life and death.
For Partners in Health, time is life. We have 18,000 people around the world. The Microsoft Cloud helps our entire staff stay connected and work together in real time to help those that need it.
The ability to collaborate changes how we work. What we do together changes how we live.
Welcome back to the Big Ten on ESPN at the Xfinity Center here in College Park, Maryland. The early 11-7 lead for the undefeated Terrapins at 7-0. Pittsburgh at 5-1, along with Doris Burke, Mike Cousins. So glad you could be with us here tonight. Well, Pittsburgh did lose something last year. A head coach, and they brought in another great one in Kevin Stallings. One thing they returned as well, a couple of big-time scorers and experience at the top of their roster.
You've got a point forward and a power forward, and Michael Young is a very difficult matchup because he can score at 3 levels. He's got the face-up game. He can use the dribble drive. If you guard him big, he'll go off the bounce. And Chanel Artis at the point guard spot. He's a scoring point guard. Has the floater to score over people. He's made the adjustment look seamless. And again, so much of what they do is driven through those 2 guys. And here they are in that 3-2 zone again.
Jackson gets into the middle of it. He's pestered by Ryan Luther, who's getting his first action off the bench. But it's an early 8 for Jackson.
Boy, they were working against his zone yesterday, and I loved how Jackson moved without the ball. He got underneath that free throw line area as he did there and just looked so confident.
Chris Jones down the lane and great height on the floater to go against the 7'1" Tchaikovsky.
Extended pressure here. Pittsburgh, little 1-2-2. Back into their 3-2.
Let's go, Maryland! Let's go, Maryland!
Cowan will shoot it. So far this year, the stats say from 3, maybe he shouldn't as much. 3 of 19 from 3. And his lob intended for Tchaikovsky ends up out of bounds.
Entering for the Terrapins, the 6'4" sophomore from Oxfordville, number 5, Dion Wiley.
Here's the leading tandems in the ACC, and Young and Artis right at the top of the list. When you look at the percentage of what they do, system for this team. They are so crucial to the team's success. But I think it's the other guys, Mike. Cameron Johnson in particular. He's got to be willing to do that. When you've got two great scorers, the guys around them, the support pieces, can't be content to let them do yeoman's work. They've got to be aggressive and assertive.
The last basket from Cameron Johnson, coming in off a 16-point game and averaging 10 in the first 6. Wiley right off the bench. Now just 4 for 15 from deep to start the year. Artis got a screen from Luther. Too much. Young got a mismatch, but it traveled. Herder got a hand in there. Tchaikovsky stood in. Maryland ball with a 2-point lead.
Number 11,
Tonight, 9:30 Eastern on ESPN. Michigan State and Duke. We saw the top 5 scoring duos in the ACC. Luke Kennard, Grayson Allen. That game at Cameron Indoor, also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Be interesting to see what effect Grayson Allen has on that game. An injured toe in their last game. He'll play, but not at 100%.
Yeah, I reached out to Jay Billis, who will be on the call with Dan Schulman. He said, yes, he's going to play, but he's not getting a ton of practice. And if you remember, Seth Curry, very much in the same situation when he played at Duke. So a shooter trying to get his rhythm will be very interesting to see.
Trimble has the ball stripped away. Young runs the floor. Artis as well. And it's Luther who rises to finish with 2.
And the key about those support pieces, you've got Young and Artis who are both capable passers, Mike. They're willing to distribute. So nice job by Luther, who I think is a prime candidate to be that 3rd or 4th scoring option.
Doris, long possessions here to start for the Terps.
Yeah, and you know what? Against this 3-2 zone, they're trying to shrink the floor. One of the things Pittsburgh talked about is making sure Melo sees a lot of bodies in front of him.
Johnson, reach-in foul on Trimble, first on the junior.
How about the defense turning to offense? Chris Jones going to get a little strip. That gets you out and running in a numbered break. And Jamel Artis to Mr. Luther, who leaves no doubt.
Jones has gotten off to a great start, sharing the ball, 20 assists, and just 3 turnovers in the first 6 games as Johnson nails the first free throw.
Entering the 5th for 5,
Justice Kithcart, freshman guard from Durham, North Carolina, onto the floor for Jones. Substitutions as well for Maryland. They get Dodd back out onto the floor in the first action today. Trayvon Bender.
And Jared Nickens in the ball game as well. And Nickens, one of those guys who I think has got to contribute and start taking some pressure off the 3 freshmen. Those 3 guys playing a ton of minutes early.
Here's Jalen Brantley driving the baseline. Johnson swats it up top at a fresh 30 for the Terps. From the corner, three-pointer is pure. Oppression as it's Nickens.
He did not miss a shot yesterday at practice. You get the feeling he could explode a little bit. If he just plays off Trimble and Cowan, he should get open looks.
Young just saw 2 different big men on 1 possession and still finds a way to score.
Good luck checking that if you're a big guy.
It's the classic mismatch. You go too small, and he goes inside. You go too big, and he goes by.
The Pittsburgh Panthers relying heavily on 2 guys. Michael Young is upward of 20 points per game. You want to guard me with Mr. Dodd? I'm going to cross him over. Use a little step back at the free throw line. That is pretty.
Get out of here. Which way? I don't know. What am I looking for? Something I can't see. I can feel it. It's magic.
America, we're here to show you how to give old treasures new life. These trophies from Ben's glory days were just gathering dust in the attic.
Dang, junior high district champs.
Give me that. Remove these little guys from their bases and attach to a plank of wood to give Trophy Rack a whole new meaning. Another winning tip, earn 1% cash back on every purchase with the Bank AmeriCard Cash Rewards credit card.
Why is there so much excitement in College Park for Justin Jackson? Well, it's 6'7", 225 off the dribble drive. Just stay spaced to three and let it fly. And off the ball reversal, Dodd becoming better out of that post as he passes to the weak side. And then how about this one? Has to use a little step back separation dribble. And we talked about the freshmen and what they're counting on from these three guys.
Providing nearly 40% of the scoring here in the early going for Mark Turgeon and the Terrapins. Justin Jackson's an interesting player because you come in with Cowan, you come in with Herter. Those are guys who are, let's say, true freshmen. Jackson's a guy who played really high-level basketball. He played at Findlay Prep, but plays a national schedule, was ranked number 26 in the ESPN 100 a couple years ago, and then did a prep year in Canada. So it's not like he's coming into a completely different level. That's a shock to the system. He knows how to play at a high level.
And I'll tell you this, great feel for the game, thinks it at a high level, multi-positional guy. Watching him at practice yesterday, I was so impressed. His ability to move without the ball. They were working against that 3-2 zone. He seemed to make every right read.
Justin Jackson, as we just mentioned, was formerly number 26 in that class of 2015. Kevin Herter, number 49 in the ESPN 100. It's been great recruiting for Maryland. They just got another commitment from a player named Daryl Morcell from this area as well, that Notre Dame was right on his tail from the beginning of the summer. Mike Bray really wanted to get that commitment, so they've done a great job keeping the talent level very high coming to College Park. 7 on the shot clock. Into the corner, Nickens. No good look so far for the Panthers. Jeter, stonewalled by Bender. 6 to shoot for Johnson. Jeter's got to get one off with a hand in his face. Nicely done.
Yeah, he's typically better if he gets a basket to go at the rim, but sometimes when you're under duress of the shot clock, you just know you've got to let it fly. It makes it come a little easier. Let's see what Shelton Jeter does from here.
Pittsburgh on a 12-3 run. Dump in for Bender. Outside for Brantley. And a short-range miss for Dodd. He's got to have that. The only good look of the possession for the Terps. Johnson way outside, too strong. It's a good test for Cowan here as Trimble gets a rest. And a look from Mark Turgeon to see how a mellow Trimble-less offense runs. Nickens on the tip. Turgeon said he's got to get Trimble some rest, averaging 33 minutes a game in the early going.
I think he's concerned about the number of minutes his freshmen are playing as well. That's why it's so important for Nickens to play better, Wiley to play better. And look at Cam Johnson put it on the deck. Much improved in that area. Has worked really hard to develop that aspect. Because for a long time, he was just a spot-up shooter.
He's got 6 of the 21 for Pittsburgh. A 5-point lead. Trimble, Herter, Jackson all getting ready to check back in next whistle. One dribble. Size advantage was there. Luther walled up against Dodd, who's 6'11". And back the other way, right through the defense. Cathcart scores, and a timeout. 16-3 run for Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh is doing a nice job in their defense, switching everything, keeping Maryland out of the paint after an early start where they were getting paint touches. Then all of a sudden, Cameron Johnson puts it on the deck. You know they're going to run him off the three-point line. And then Cathcart is not a shooter, but he does have unbelievable athleticism and speed and uses both to his advantage there.
Tomorrow, 9:15 Eastern on ESPN. Another blockbuster ACC Big Ten Challenge matchup. Number 3, North Carolina. Number 13, Indiana at Assembly Hall in Bloomington. It's also streaming live on the ESPN app and Watch ESPN. High-scoring Carolina. We'll see how the Hoosiers respond after that Tuesday loss against Fort Wayne, coming back with a win over the weekend. But James Blackman Jr.'s status up in the air.
Two of the 16 highest scoring teams in the country. North Carolina 5th in points per game. IU 16th. Shot clock again putting pressure on Maryland.
Trimble, 16-footer. Forced it, got his own offensive rebound outside for Jackson, who's got 8. Cowan with the cross. Trimble, as good a look as he's had all day. Still no field goal attempts for Kevin Herter. Great three-point shooter, number 4 in white for Maryland. They're trying to figure out the offense here in the early going. Down by 7.
A lot of that has to do with the switching, and you can see Pittsburgh a little bit smaller in the backcourt, and right away Cowan goes right at a like-sized defender.
He's got great speed. Some here in College Park will tell you he might be the fastest guard in the conference. Who's going to guard Young? Don gets a hand on it. That's the stop the Terps have been looking for. Cowan didn't have numbers on the runout.
Mismatch inside. They're going to get are they going to get an offensive foul on Dodd? Wow.
The push-off, and that's his second.
Well, if you're Maryland, you're trying to make a comeback here. This will help. Little dribble drive by Cowan. He wears 0. Attacks the rim ferociously like another 0.
Hey guys, it's Erin Napier here with my husband Ben in Bank of America to show you how to make beautiful decor on a budget. Give this a quick coat of paint, a few holes, and some rope for hanging. Fill with your favorite plants and you've got an instant indoor garden.
Want more green? Use the Bank of America Cash Rewards credit card to earn 1% cash back on all your DIY supplies.
Next, we'll show you how to turn an empty wall into a work of art.
Burke back in our college basketball studios. Georgia Tech and Penn State tied at 12. It's over on ESPNU, and this is the freshman Mike Watkins, who's just averaging just under 10 points a game right now. So 17-14 right now for Georgia Tech. And once again, Tyler Lydon and Syracuse so far looking good. A match with 2 top 25 teams. They face Wisconsin coming up under 5 from now. Mike, Doris, back to you guys.
Well, Tyler Lydon may not be long for college hoops. Neither may Jonathan Isaac, who's the early leader in the clubhouse for ACC Big Ten Challenge MVP.
He made that 14 and 13 with 2 blocks look easy. Young man is super skilled. He's unselfish. You better look out for Florida State now. They have 2 really talented pieces in Bacon and Isaac. They're long, they're big, they're athletic. Leonard Hamilton changing his offense a little bit. Florida State's going to be very good before it's all said and done.
Artisan Young on the perimeter. 3-point try at the buzzer.
Yeah, you're asking a guy who is not used to it, 7'1", 250 pounds, stepping away and guarding. And Tchaikovsky is just having a hard time trying to challenge and stay in front.
Basket and one as Cowan uses his speed to get to the rim.
So I don't know if it's coincidence, but this guy goes to the rim with great ferocity. He wears number 0. He's got his hair in a little mohawk. Is he trying to be Russell Westbrook? Doesn't certainly have the size, plays the same position. How about that crossover change of pace? Go to work. That is nice.
It's a pretty good guy to model yourself after. It's a safe bet. He leaves one on the board. 26-20. Pittsburgh the lead, under 6.5 to play before the break here in College Park. Herder trying to D up. We got a traveling call. Well, Herder has not impacted the game offensively yet, but he's been a factor defensively so far this year. He forced the travel there. He plays straight up. Had a block at the end of the game against Georgetown. It's not why they recruited him here, but he certainly played well to that end of the floor.
Boy, he's smart, he's skilled, he's unafraid. I have loved watching him play.
Jonathan Milligan called for the foul. His second. Going against Justin Jackson inside. Milligan, the transfer from Kilgore College in Texas, takes a seat. Trimble averaging a team-high 21 with just 3 points in the first half. Quick shot, Herder off the mark as he faded away. Artis wants it going all the way, and he's got it.
Now, these two guys are just so good and so difficult to contend with on the rake and take, or even an outlet and catch and go. Jamel Artis, you're looking at a guy 6'7", 215 pounds, a very improved handle, using the left hand, and watch him just lean in, just going to draw contact on the big guy. The best scorers do that. They're not looking for 2, they're looking for 3.
One of the questions we had after watching these two teams practice, who's going to be able to keep up with Young and Artis inside? And so far, among the rotation of bigs for Maryland, in my opinion, it's been Bender who's been able to hang the best under the basket defensively. And it's Bender out there on the floor along with Herder, Cowan, Trimble, and Jackson.
And I like Bender. I like his frame. He's very communicative.
Artis curls and delivers. Deep 3.
And he's not been a great three-point shooter. And this is a guy, you almost get the sense he's better when he's got a hand in his face than when he's wide open.
The Terrapins trying to shave off some of what is the largest lead of the day for Pittsburgh. Switch on the screen. Trimble. Nowhere good to go with it. A takeaway and a breakaway. And a two-handed finish for Jamel Artis. And another quick timeout for Mark Turgeon in Maryland. Quick timeout for us. 30 seconds, and we're coming right back to Maryland.
You found your car on Cars.com.
I'm a robot.
Yeti. And found a place to service it, too. Now, when you're ready, you can sell your old car and find your new one, all on Cars.com. You know us for shopping, and now we're there for every turn. Cars.com.
Power plants account for more than a third of energy-related carbon emissions. The challenge is to capture the emissions before they're released into the atmosphere. That's what we're working on right now. Energy lives here.
Well, Jamel Artis taking over for James Robinson, who was a 4-year starter at the point guard position. Rock solid. His career assist-to-turnover ratio was 3.45 to 1. But look at the comparison. Artis a better scorer. His turnovers similarly low. And so you get a better score. And I think certainly there were times I thought Robinson could have been much more aggressive as a scorer. I thought he passed up too many shots.
Looked like a carry was the call there. So it's back to Pittsburgh. 3.45 to 1. To go back to James Robinson for a second. That's the best in NCAA history. So it's not easy to replace that. And Kevin Stallings coming in and having to make plenty of evaluation decisions about his team. Decided Artis was the best guy with the ball in his hands. Also being able to score quite a bit. Jackson wanted another 3. Looking to get his team and the crowd back into this one. Johnson, 3-point shooter. That's the guy, if it's not Young or Artis, who's been that tertiary piece for the Panthers.
So a big test here for Maryland. One of the things Mark Turgeon told his guys yesterday is this is the biggest, toughest, best team we've faced to this point. And I think he was anxious to see how his guys responded.
Get the feeling Trimble heaved that up just to see if it would go in. No look pass. Luther gets it to go and the foul.
Pittsburgh just pouring it on here. Bad shot selection leading to a quick run out for the Pittsburgh Panthers. So on the road, Pittsburgh doing the job and getting it from a number of different areas. Nice dribble drive to the spot-up shooter, and Johnson delivers. And then how about Jamel Artis? The delivery to Ryan Luther. They're rolling.
Alongside Coach Seth Greenberg, the always clutch Jay Williams of Adnan on the Land Rover Halftime Report. ACC Big Ten Challenge update plus a preview of what to look forward to. Michigan State Duke. Coach, what are you seeing in this game right now?
I love what Pitt's doing defensively, switching all that perimeter stuff, keeping it in front, taking Maryland out of any dribble penetration.
They should do that. Maryland lost 4 out of 5 starters. It's only Melo Trimble. By the way, Doris, woman crush every day.
Yes, Drake. Mike Doris, back to you guys.
That never misses a chance.
I appreciate that, fellas.
Just some musical artist named Aubrey Graham. You might have heard of him. Luther's at the line to complete the 3-point play. And it's now Pittsburgh doubling up Maryland 40-20 and a 14-0 run for the Panthers.
Pittsburgh forcing Maryland into 10 turnovers and crushing them. Points off turnovers.
And Trimble gets into the lane, giving the crowd what they want. He's got 5.
Boy, he's special in his ability to be crafty with the ball, operate in tight spaces. But they have done a terrific job keeping him off the free throw line. He has yet to be there, and he's averaging almost 9 trips a game, Trimble.
Luther unguarded. Can Trimble go again? He will go to the line.
This guy has got special ability, battled hamstring and other issues health-wise. How about this? He backs off Cameron Johnson to the point where he falls down and then uses the window, and then finally, a guy who's averaging almost 9 free throws a game gets his first couple opportunities here. Thus far, Pittsburgh has done exactly what they had hoped. They wanted Melo Trimble to see 6 eyes, meaning 3 defenders in their gaps prepared to play and keep him out of the lane.
.81% free throw shooter on the year. It's going to be a different year for Trimble. There's no Des Wells, no Rashid Suleiman, no Robert Carter. It's his team this year. And it's a team that has had to come back from deficits several times already this year. But Artis keeps the hot streak going for Pittsburgh. 15 now for Artis. Wiley sitting in that near side corner. That's been the hot spot. Jackson has hit from there. Now to the opposite corner.
How good is a one-handed pass, though? That kid tucks himself inside the free throw line, and off one bounce, pretty pass to the corner. That kid can play.
Now Jackson's got to try and put a stop on Young. He shakes him off just inside the three-point line. How do you stop that?
They don't have an answer for that yet. God, those two guys remind me of when Pittsburgh was in the Big East and they were older, they were tougher, they were more physically mature, and they would just out-tough, outwork, outman you.
Nearly a turnover. All 6'4" of Wiley went up to get it. Trimble cross court gets it back. Ball on the baseline. Belongs to the Panthers. Under a minute to go in the first half.
Now, how about Jamel Artis? And these are the two guys that Maryland came in wondering, could we check them? And the answer thus far is no. You get a small guy on him, he plays bully basketball, gets himself into that mid-post area, then out in transition. You don't stop the ball early, it pays. And then all of a sudden, in that 3-2 zone, the anticipation by Artis. He's made it look easy. 15 on 6 of 7. Here he goes to work again.
It's been rare he's missed. Still not hitting there. 6 of 8. Nickens. If the Terps are going to make it a comeback tonight, they're going to have to start knocking down those good looks from the corner. Because against the 3-2 zone, those have been the best ones they've had. 3-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock for Pittsburgh. Artis, the Baltimore native, with the ball in his hand. Young poked away. Stays here through to shoot. And a timeout, Pittsburgh. 3 on the shot clock. 6.7 seconds left here in the half. Well, tonight after the ACC Big Ten Challenge, Michigan State and Duke. Oh, yes, great game. Sports Center at night with the legendary Terp, Scott Van Pelt. His picture, you walk out the hallway here, it's blown up about 10 feet high on the wall. Complete breakdown of all the games. Wrap up the day the SVP way with all the highlights and sports news. Sports Center at night. That's on your ESPN app, and watch ESPN also on ESPN. Wasn't the launch of that show here?
It might have been, and it's appropriate for a star like Scott Van Pelt to have that much wall space. That's only appropriate. And Michigan State Duke, do not dilly-dally when we leave this building tonight, because I'm getting back to watch that.
Step on it. Now, out of a timeout, that is something sure to be displeasing to Kevin Stallings. No execution out of a called set. More displeasing, though, is going to be what Mark Turgeon thinks of the way his team has played in the first half.
I think a few things. First and foremost, you got to cut down on your turnovers. Because you're giving a team that's got a ton of experience. Too many opportunities. 10 turnovers.
Here comes Cowan with the only look. Tough to drive against the big body of Michael Young. And Pittsburgh ends the half on a 19-4 run. 45-24 as Young and Artis, the top scoring duo in the ACC, have outscored Maryland by themselves. And now, waiting patiently, Jay Williams, Seth Greenberg, and Dan Verk in the studio. Welcome back to the ACC Big Ten Challenge. It's presented by LGB20. Back here in College Park, where Pittsburgh is up 45-24 over Maryland at the half. Turnovers have been big, 10 of them by Maryland. 16 points for the Panthers off of those giveaways. Glad to have you back here with us, Mike Cousins and Doris Burke, who, when you need legal representation, knows just the guys.
If you need a little basketball assistance, let's call the Esquires, Jamel Artis and Michael Young. And, you know, teams typically don't know who they are, what's their identity. Well, you can start with these two guys. Jamel Artis helped a 19-6 run to end the half. He had 11 points in that run. How about this? The close was there. The jumper was pure in spite of it. And then pick any defender you want, because Michael Young saw just about everybody that Mark Turgeon could throw at him. If you guarded him big, he stepped away and made him guard off the dribble. Shake Mr. Jackson. Oh, young freshman, I got plenty of game for you. How about this tandem? They are going to be formidable all year.
25 points for that duo, the highest scoring pair in the ACC. A point better than Maryland as a squad in the first 20 minutes.
Because Maryland was 4 for 16, look at how gapped that 3-2 zone is.
Trimble from 3. No, but he did get bumped by Jeter on the perimeter, and that's number 2 on Jeter, the senior from Beaver Falls, PA.
And look at the adjustment Mark Turgeon makes out of the gates, right? He's going to start L.J. Gill in an attempt to get better matchups on the floor. L.G. Gill, excuse me. And I think it's smart because he has had difficulty matching up with both guys. So he downsizes a little bit.
So largest deficit of the year for Maryland. Mark Turgeon pleading, saying, can I get a call? With his star hitting the deck. Trimble at the half, 2 of 6, 7 points, averaging a team high 21 through the first 7 games. The Terps are a perfect 7-0. Pittsburgh at 5-1. And if there's been a problem this year, according to Kevin Stallings, their head coach, it's been playing down to the level of the opposition. Not a problem tonight. Trimble, too much straight away. On the breakout, Jones didn't get it the first time. Maybe a makeup call going back the other way, but he was there for the offensive rebound.
And then no sign of taking the foot off the gas if you're Pittsburgh.
Here's Cowan, who gets them into the offense, perhaps the point guard of the future for this Maryland team in what may be the 3rd and final year in college for Melo Trimble. Time will tell. Cowan misses the 3.
This feels like they're shooting an awful lot of threes.
Well, they go smaller, and right now their big man, in essence, is Justin Jackson, along with Gill. You got 6'8" there, 6'7", but certainly much smaller than if Tchaikovsky or Dodd or Bender were on the floor. But those 3 guys showed, despite their height, they didn't have the speed to keep up with what Pittsburgh's bringing inside for a Pittsburgh team that doesn't have a true lumbering 5 in the antiquated sense of that position.
2 just highly productive forwards who are matchup nightmares for most teams.
Dodd grabs the offensive rebound. Nice stick back with the right hand. First bucket of the night for Dodd. Young had it straight away. Offensive foul against Pittsburgh. Gene Steratore right on top of it to whistle against Chris Jones.
And they were just running a simple pin down. He gets Chris Jones for the illegal screen.
Every time he sets a pick, he's walking.
Kevin Stallings in year number 1. The helm after 17 years at Vanderbilt, filling the seat formerly held by Jamie Dixon, now at TCU.
And think about what he did at Vanderbilt. 332 wins, 220 losses. He's top 25 in terms of active victories.
7 NCAA tournaments. Was there since '99. He went from car phones to beepers to cell phones all at one school.
He had some great stories for us earlier. Remember, he and Mark Turgeon were assistants at Kansas together over a several-year span.
Maryland fans saying, finally, an empty possession. Herder trying to find his shot. Artis right there to challenge. Into the corner. Cowan for three. Those good looks have not turned into scoring opportunities for Maryland. 4 of 19 from three-point range.
I mentioned that the two head coaches tonight were on the Kansas staff from 1989 to 1992. Stallings on the left, Mark Turgeon on the right. And Kevin Stallings told us earlier, he said, we spent an awful lot of time covering up for each other so that we didn't make Roy Williams angry. Roy has a vested interest in this game.
Looking for the backdoor lob for Herder. It wasn't there. Cowan weasels his way into the lane. The size of Young prevents him from scoring. Running the floor, a thing of beauty. Young gets the bucket to go.
They're just keeping the pressure on. They are leaking out, beating Maryland up the floor. Is Mark Turgeon going to use one? No, he's not.
It does it now for Young.
TV timeout coming shortly. Been a little bit of a struggle for Melo Trimble.
Jackson has been a constant in the middle of the Pittsburgh defense, surrounded by 4 variables on the edge and his teammates. Cowan, the foul, and a timeout here at the Xfinity Center. Still a sizable edge for Pittsburgh, trying to give the Terps their first loss.
Remember when everything you did was for the fun of doing it? BMW Sports Activity Vehicles are the perfect combination of ample space, dynamic power, and sleek design. You can go wherever the fun takes you. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Lease a BMW X3 for $409 a month.
Discover Card. I'm not a customer, but I'm calling about that credit scorecard.
Give it?
Oh, sure. It's free for everyone. Oh, well, that's nice.
And checking your score won't hurt your credit.
Oh!
I'm so proud of you.
Well, thank you.
Get your free credit scorecard at Discover.com, even if you're not a customer.
Boy, you think you've proven yourself? Nah, man, it's still early. Miles and Company. This is Cameron, where it's hard to get any crazier. And Duke, this may be your house, but these guys mean business. Michigan State, Duke, get ready for a blockbuster.
Oh boy, Michigan State and Duke, a blockbuster of a game if there is one. Here as we come up on December, right now here in College Park, 49-26. It's Pittsburgh, led by a dominant effort from Michael Young and Jamel Artis.
Well, can I just say that promo is worthy of the level of game that we just saw, and the games of these two men is worthy of that promo. How about Mr. Bridges, the youngster, 17 and almost 9 boards with 2+ assists. What a start for that young guy. And Grayson Allen, you mentioned it, battling that toe injury, doesn't get a ton of practice time. We'll see how that affects his game. And how about this? Mike Krzyzewski, you just rolling. This is how good Duke is. Because Chad Ford has the 3 guys that are missing, Giles, Tatum, and Bolden, number 2, number 7, and number 13. So without 3 guys who are projected to go top 13 in the draft, you're doing all right to start the season.
The McDonald's All-Americans don't play, and there's still more that just keep coming off the bench. You know, I hope Coach Greenberg back in the studio is listening right now, because I was listening to his podcast yesterday, Courtside with Katz and Coach G.
I love that podcast, by the way.
It's wonderful. They had Tom Izzo on as a guest, and he was talking about his team, but also talking about Frank Jackson, one of the freshman guards for Duke, and saying, he reminds me a little bit, here's Tchaikovsky going to the line for Maryland, of Kyrie Irving. And it's not to say that Tom Izzo was saying he's going to be like Kyrie Irving in the future. That's a tough comparison. But the way he scores and how electric he is when he touches the ball. So high praise from Coach Izzo there for Frank Jackson.
Very high praise. I'm telling you, do not dilly-dally getting out of this building, because I can't wait to get back to the room and watch that game. Now, interesting here from Mark Turgeon. Not much. You've tried to pull a lot of strings against a very good Pittsburgh team. Now what you've done is you're putting 2 bigs on the floor together. Tchaikovsky and Bender at your 4-5 spot. Herder brings good size at the 3. Let's see if this is any more effective.
Artis through the middle. Bender's there to grab it off the glass. Trimble gets into the lane, floats it up and scores. He's got 9 and perhaps the start of something good for Melo Trimble. Going high-low, Luther had Artis inside. Trimble defending. And the foul on Trimble, his second.
This is a Maryland team that I think, and you could tell watching them work out, they don't have all their coverages in. They're not who they're going to be. I'm telling you, they've got depth. The depth will get better because I think Nickens will shoot it better. Wiley will get better with reps.
Kithcart steps into a 3. 51-28. Trimble with the shake, the give, and Tchaikovsky rises to finish.
So as a coach, right, you're down this many, you're reaching, and you just pull the trigger on Bender and Tchaikovsky together, and you've got this little bit of juice in your offense right now.
Just trying to find what the right combination might be. Trimble got caught out of position. Help side defense was there. And then a foul is called as white jerseys go like bowling pins to the floor with Bender and Herter in the vicinity.
Now Maryland trying to get some things together on the offensive end of the floor. So Melo, what an outstanding handle. So good in tight spaces. Forces the step up from the bottom line of that zone. So he forces Luther to step up, and that makes an easy finish. Nice when your point guard or your 2 guard, whatever we're calling him this year, makes the game easy for people.
Artis a miss, 79% at the line coming in, and it is not 100% full in the building, but it's loud here down the court.
It's very loud, and you can't get casual if you're Pittsburgh. Remember, we've talked about it. Maryland's 7-0, but they've had to scrap and claw in several games in the second half in order to get back in it.
They've played close games. 5 of their 7 wins have been by 6 points or fewer. Come from behind wins, all of them. A drive and a dish. Brentley tries it from the corner. Saved by Young. Can't stay back on the big man. He'll take that shot. That's the gamble that Mark Turgeon is playing with right now with the 2 bigs on the floor, Tchaikovsky and Bender. Herter, that's his look, a 3-pointer. Tchaikovsky over Young, and a runner. It's a beauty.
Just a terrific job timing that, and I think there's an awful lot to Tchaikovsky. He's got another level he can get to.
Young down the floor.
Wow, that's a big-time score in the face of all that size. Nice job by Tchaikovsky, not fouling in that instance, staying true to his vertical cylinder. You like that verbiage?
I do. That is right out of the rule book. And you saw it from the baseline official as well to show that the hands were straight up. That's a clear hand check there. Bender the foul, the redshirt sophomore. He's made his first career starts over the last 3 games, coming in for DeMonte Dodd. And Dodd back in the starting lineup tonight, but not the best fit, perhaps, for this game matchup-wise.
You know, it's interesting, those bigs. Guards, it's easy on the closeout to do those short, choppy steps. A little bit more difficult for the bigs to do those short, choppy steps.
Doesn't look quite as suave. .54-32. Trimble trying to play the role of facilitator and scorer. Turns it over. It's Artis 3-on-3. Back for Luther. Last touch by Maryland is the initial call.
Gene Steratore going to go down. I think he had a pretty good angle at it. This should be reversed and is.
trail official has the better call.
And Stallings and Sterator involved in a conversation. Let's see, in fact, does it go off the thigh? Yeah, it sure does. Goes off the left thigh of Mr. Luther, no?
Yes, that appeared to be the case.
You were giving me a quizzical look, so you had me concerned.
Herder gets an open look. Scouting report says do the opposite of that on defense. Blocking foul on Cowan. Pittsburgh up 54-35.
We love to keep them safe. So we made the Nest Protect smoke and carbon monoxide alarm. It speaks up and can alert your phone if there's a problem, or let you know if everything is just fine. Because, you know, we worry.
Okay, Google, turn on the hall lights.
Okay, Google, turn up the music. Okay, Google, what's the weather?
Two babies dream.
How do you say nice to meet you in Spanish?
Okay, Google, dim the downstairs lights.
Welcome back to the Big Ten on ESPN, along with Doris Burke, Mike Cousins. It's a pleasure to be along with you here tonight. The ACC Big Ten Challenge. Pittsburgh up 54-35 over Maryland with 11:39 left in the second half. Mark Turgeon, the Terps grinding it out. 1-1 ACC Big Ten. The Big Ten win belongs to Northwestern. A pretty good one for Chris Collins' squad.
How about the performance of Bryant McIntosh down the stretch of that game? Remember, they're coming off the double games in New York. They beat Texas, lose to Notre Dame in a nip and tuck ball game. Took a lot of Irish toughness to close that one down. And boy, Chris Collins, Northwestern, never been to an NCAA tournament. Those are the kinds of wins that you need to have. They lost a heartbreaker out of the gates to Butler on the road.
By 2.
And Chris was talking about the fact that that's a program, Butler, right? 2 national championship game appearances in their history, multiple Final Fours, obviously. And he said the difference down the stretch of that game was their kids knew they were going to win. Our guys are figuring out how to win. Well, last night, Mr. McIntosh, that was a big step forward.
A guy who this year can make a leap from perhaps the honorable mention category to an all-league type of player for the Wildcats. On the run, Luther rejected from behind by Tchaikovsky. Full court, Cowan draws the foul. It's on the floor. He was trying to see if he could make it a couple of free throws. But whoa, how about the outlet pass?
Well, how about the rundown? LeBron James has made this very popular. Luther thinks he's got a layup. Checo says, no, sir. That is nice. Twice on the pipes.
Defense sagging in to take away that interior pass for Jackson. That's been the best instigator of offense. Cowan swirls home the three-pointer.
Boy, he came into this game just 3 for 19 from out there.
Sweet 16% is not what you want to be shooting. Artist with size and just turns the corner on Brantley.
And he's got such size, Mike, that he's going to just shoot over a lot of defenders. If he gets those shoulders turned, there's not guys who can test from that position.
From the corner, back out to Herter. Got it. Brantley on the assist.
2 from the same spot, and you can play fast and loose now if you're Maryland. It's down to 17, and they come with full court pressure.
Herter on the contest. The defense continues to be at an elite level, and Brantley was a little too aggressive.
Long time for Pittsburgh to be shooting free throws. They are in the bonus early. How about the close by Herter? That is nicely done.
The pride of New York's Shenandoah High School, New York State Mr. Basketball. Following in some big shoes there, Elton Brand, Stephon Marbury, Kenny Anderson. All guys who are taking that trophy.
Say he had a monumental block at the end of that Georgetown game. That was not a work of art, that game, but that's a big-time play by him.
Trimble out of necessity off the ball here with Cowan, the freshman, looking to initiate. He might have had an open lane there. Jackson, no slouch scorer himself at 12 points a game off the front iron.
You were thinking exactly what I thought. Cowan had him beat. I'm not sure why he didn't go to the rack.
Young backing in. Made it a little fancier than it needed to be. And Artis is there to help him out. 22 for Artis. And Trimble gets stuck between Jeter and Young. Going to the free throw line with the foul against Jeter, his 4th.
Tell you, with almost 9 minutes to play, this is just the 3rd and 4th free throws by Melo Trimble. So that was one of the keys. Said to Kevin Stallings at shoot-around this morning, if you take away one thing, what is it? His free throw opportunities.
Luther back into the game for Jeter with those 4 fouls. Jeter, an interesting career turn as he started his career under Kevin Stallings at Vanderbilt. Left only to maybe be one of the few players in college basketball history to have the coach follow him a few years later. Artis directs the show. Not only dishing, but scoring tonight with 22. So for as much lamenting as there may have been about James Robinson not being a scorer, Artis has filled that void. Wiley knocks it down from the corner. Well timed. It's a 15-point game.
There's no quit in Maryland. They proved it early and often in this season, and Kevin Stallings going to use one, and I think wisely so. The crowd getting involved.
60-45, Pittsburgh's lead has been trimmed, and it's as close as the Terrapins have been in the second half.
When you find something worth waiting for, we'll help you invest to protect it for the future. Financial guidance while you're mastering life. From Chase, so you can.
Men need to prepare themselves. Nivea Men Cream. Super fast absorbing and non-greasy. Nivea makes you feel good in your skin. Nivea Men Cream. Crafted just for you. Nivea Men. It starts with you. Get your free sample at NiveaMenUSA.com.
So he's a 7'1", 250-pound sophomore center from Slovakia, who Mark Turgeon would like to see more from. Well, if you're playing with Melo Trimble, have your hands up. Use your size to your advantage. You're much bigger than Mr. Young, who has attacked you all night long. Get out in transition defensively, run the floor, make yourself a shot-blocking presence. And along with his play and some threes starting to go, Maryland has climbed back in it. After a 1-for-18 start from three, they've made their last four, Mike.
15 as close as they've been since the teams came out of the locker room to start the second half. 7 to shoot. Young trying to bully his way to the basket. He's turned away with Dodd on the floor. Trimble goes 3 on 3.
The floor is spread. They're making Pittsburgh chase.
Four out, 1 in.
I think they want Jackson running the baseline. He's standing in the corner, and that's making him easy to guard. So I think Herter is going to come in for Jackson right now.
There's a timeout on the floor.
They get a little bit deeper from 3, but only 1 on the shot clock.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by the all-new LG V20. Life's good when you play more. And Macy's.
Okay, Google, turn on the hall lights.
Okay, Google, turn up the music. Okay, Google, what's the weather?
Two babies dream.
How do you say nice to meet you in Spanish?
Okay, Google, dim the downstairs lights.
Sierra's innovative cargo box helps you get the job done easier, faster, and smarter. Easy lift and lower tailgate means just that. Effortless access to your cargo. A corner step rear bumper makes loading and unloading easy. And new tri-mode power steps are there when you need them and slide back to provide easy access to the front of the bed. The innovative cargo box in the Sierra 1500, intelligently engineered with you in mind.
All right, Doris, let's go inside the play where things went wrong.
Well, I want you to look at the near side corner, number 21, and then widen out, guys, because I want you to look at the stance Mark Turgeon is in the sideline. The clock is ticking, and Jackson is just standing, and he should be running the baseline. That gets Turgeon excited off the bench. He's looking for Herter to come in, and now they've got 1 second on the shot clock with which to do something.
So it'll have to be quick. On the floor for Maryland, Brantley, Herter, Trimble, Wiley to get it in, and Dodd at the 5 spot. It looks like they're going to try and run Trimble off the screen here. Instead it goes for Dodd. And a foul is called on the loose ball going to the floor. That's on Trimble, number 3. Nine team fouls against the Terps, 6 against the Panthers.
And Pittsburgh all year has been killing people in terms of number of free throws taken and made.
Johnson now with 10 at his season average. Young and Artis, if you joined us late, the 2 leading scorers in the ACC coming in at 44 points a game. Right now, 38 between the 2.
Sorry, Mike. Pittsburgh trying to change things up defensively, give them a different look.
If not Herter, how about Melo Trimble? After a made basket, it's been full court pressure from Maryland. Johnson didn't have the open lane. 10 on the shot clock. Recycle it outside for Young, who's got a size advantage against just about everybody, except for DeMonte Dodd. Trimble, 3 again.
And every time Young has gone in the second half, The officials have signaled that vertical cylinder. Both the baseline and the top official on that challenge of Young said they are keeping their vertical cylinder. That's why no whistle. Very similar to the NBA rule.
Dodd was a little late to get there and was unsure as to exactly where Young was going to go with it.
Let's look at the vertical cylinder I'm talking about, because Michael Young is going to dribble drive into size, and as long as this defender goes straight up and stays within his vertical cylinder, which actually, you know, could have been somewhat questionable on that replay now that I see that. But just as I thought that could have been a foul on this particular trip, I thought he could have committed an offensive foul. He put that left shoulder in, used the left arm to push off on the defender. So you give good, you get good, Mike.
Important to note, too, is that as a secondary defender comes over to guard there under the basket, he can be within the 4-foot restricted area as long as he goes straight up and maintains his principle of verticality, which extends all the way to the ceiling.
Yeah, that's an old buzzword. The old principle of verticality. You're talking my language now.
8 to shoot for the Terrapins. Herter, halfway down.
He can't believe it. Herter cannot believe that didn't go down.
Still 5.5 to go as it's a 63-48 lead for the Panthers. Young doesn't get it. And maybe on another night, still plenty of ball to go. But it's been cold three-point shooting for the Terps. But Wiley has the answer. They were just 9 of 30. Wiley's now got 6.
All the shots they were missing in the first half have started to drop here in the second.
Into the paint, Tchaikovsky. Fouled on the floor. Young was underneath.
They just feel more confident facing that 3-2 zone. Don't they? Amazing when shots start to fall. But they've changed the look of their offense, putting more on the perimeter.
Tchaikovsky 0 for 2 at the line tonight. Came in limited opportunities, 3 for 6 in the first 7 games, but he did miss 4 with a right foot sprain, so he's not been back at 100% just yet.
He also dealt with a hamstring in the preseason.
Taurus tomorrow night, 9:15 Eastern on ESPN. The ACC Big Ten Challenge continues. Number 3, North Carolina. Number 13, Indiana in Bloomington. Live on the ESPN app. Watch ESPN. Roy Williams likely watching his proteges here tonight.
Wow, and you just have artists on the floor. You're giving Michael Young his last rest and probably get him back in underneath the next timeout.
Artist drew the double team, and he throws it away.
Opportunity to get it to single digits here.
Cowan penetrates, kicks for Herter, and it's Tremble for 3. A lot of contact on what is a big rebound for Johnson. Plenty of opportunities for the Terps. If Trimble can get going, could be another one coming down to the wire in College Park.
stuff is on fire. Someone better call the fire department. Woo, woo.
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these.
Bro, your stuff is on fire. Someone better call the fire department. Yeah, you should call the fire department. This is your stuff.
More people save money by combining their home and auto with State Farm. Here to help life go right.
I'm Adnan Burke alongside Jay Williams here in our college basketball studios. Jay, Will, over on ESPN, Syracuse and Wisconsin. This will be Bronson Koenig here.
Wisconsin still shooting over 50% from the field, and that's how you beat the zone. To get the ball to the middle to Nigel Hayes, you kick it out to three-point ready shooters, get offensive rebound. That's how they're in the lead.
Apparently the Badgers have a 10-point lead. Once again, it's over on ESPN. Coming up, it's Iowa and Notre Dame. Peter Jock here getting set for this one. Excited for it on ESPN2. Mike, Doris, back to you guys.
You know, Jim Boeheim did say this was the year they might play some man-to-man.
And you follow that with a laugh.
If the zone ain't working. 63-53. Maryland's kept the ball under control the last 14 minutes. Just one turnover after they had 10 at halftime.
Interesting, Michael Young doesn't come back onto the floor. And they go waltzing right to the lane. And I think Michael Young trying to get the assistant coach's attention like, hey, I'm sitting right here.
$15 minutes left. Pittsburgh led by 25. Maryland in the midst of a 29-12 run. Another stop. They get it to the corner. Wiley. And if those threes fall, who knows? Maryland might be in the lead right now, but the momentum is all red and white.
And Michael Young is up and off the bench. I was surprised he wasn't on the floor. It didn't take long for Kevin Stallings. Now both teams in the bonus. And you know, it's amazing. Maryland, the other thing, they've made some threes, but they've stopped turning it over. They've given themselves an opportunity on the offensive end by not turning it over as they did in the first 20 minutes.
What did they do to avoid those turnovers?
Well, I just think they've done a better job attacking the 3-2 zone. Much better job in the second half, especially in the latter stages of it.
Tchaikovsky nearly gave up the baseline, but a big offensive rebound for Jones. Another 30 seconds to draw the clock down as it goes under 2.5 minutes to play in regulation. Herder comes out of nowhere, forces a jump ball. The possession arrow keeps it here, but a dart from to the side where nobody saw him coming from.
Well, that's because this kid knows scout defense, right? Pittsburgh calls their thumb up, which you know is a double stagger at the top for the point guard to come off, and they're actually trying to get the ball reversed to Young. But Herder, knowing the scout, anticipates the play and causes the tie-up.
Loose ball, momentary 5-on-4, nearly a bank shot. Herder with the rebound. Trimble leads the break. Cowan under the basket. Now back outside. Floor burns abound. Young with a spin. And a foul on the floor against Maryland.
Well, we call them the cardiac kids. They are making every push possible. It's a really tough angle for Cowan against size. Love that guys are laying out, hitting the deck. How about against pressure, the ability to spin by Michael Young? Well, not turning it over and shots falling have been crucial to Maryland's comeback. I'm calling them the cardiac kids because they're going to give Mark Turgeon a heart attack. All the jump shots that would not fall at 1 point, 1 for 18 from deep. Cowan came in 16% from 3, drains that one. Herter made 2 from that exact spot to give them a little bit of juice in their legs. Melo's ability to get a paint touch and kick it to those open shooters spaced out. Their spacing has been better. Their dribble driving has been better. It's come from different guys. This is why, regardless of what happens in this final 159, I believe Maryland has the potential to be one of the better teams in basketball. They have depth. They have scoring. You need Nickens to help the young guys. That kid's got to make shots for them. Wiley has given them some juice tonight. He's got to be consistent and play well. They have depth. They have talent. Mark's going to make them guard.
Young, 3 of 4 at the line tonight. And where the advantage lies for Pittsburgh in close games like this will be in its experience.
How about that? Conley stepping in there and delivering. And now extending pressure, just trying to make Maryland use clock.
Under 2 minutes.
Crowd restless. They want this to develop quickly.
It's the 3 freshmen on the floor, along with Trimble. He's got to be the leader. His layup try is short. Last touch by the Panthers.
And the reason you're seeing Pittsburgh in so much zone is they cannot contain Cowan and Melo off the dribble. And even against the zone, somehow they're managing to find the gaps.
And the officials now may take advantage of the time on the clock and go over to the monitor under 2 minutes to see who the ball was last touched by. We got a pretty strong argument from Michael Young at the end of that play. He may have a case there, but we'll see, of course, on the ricochet. Now, the call was Maryland basketball. You see Gene Steratore, the baseline official. They need indisputable video evidence to overturn that call.
Was it Jackson's hand that went in there at the last moment, perhaps?
Well, if they don't have such evidence, wrap it up real quick.
I wish America could see your face as you look at me with...
And you know what? Most of America doesn't wish for that.
Well, again, I don't know if that's indisputable. I thought you could make the case it went off Jackson.
So it stays here. If it does indeed stay here, let's play out the possession for the Terps and where they want to go.
Well, I think obviously one of Melo, Trimble, and Anthony Cowan they're screening the zone at the top, and obviously they'll have to get it out of bounds and throw it out. But they have gotten paint touches and distributed to three-point shooters. I would think you'd see something similar.
Close games have been the norm for the Terps at 7-0. This is a question that we just talked about on the way over here, just shooting the breeze about ball. And I said, you know, for Mark Turgeon with a younger group like this, would you rather be 7-0, or would you rather be, 4-3 games that aren't going to hurt you come March, but have played games that were close and you lost, or have games that you win by huge margins? 7-0 is 7-0.
That's going to be a hold on Michael Young.
Yeah, he got caught up there and is going to try and play innocent, flash that sly grin.
Yeah, and
he's got a winning smile.
He does. He's got one of the best smiles in college basketball, I think. He'll give you a little...
and a good smirk to go with it after he doesn't like the call.
A little dispute, but Mr. Young, you were caught, and we agree with the official. And the officials did come over here and just say there was no conclusive evidence on that replay to change the call. So they stepped a little closer on the free throw. And my answer to your supposition about, blowing teams out versus playing high caliber, for Maryland, it's played out about as good as you could hope. You've had close games. You've had to scrap and claw and win ugly. And you've gained confidence in doing so. So best case scenario.
Is there enough time left for Maryland? The defense has risen to the occasion. No Pittsburgh field goals the last 8 minutes.
And it's an underrated thing here, but against this pressure, you're releasing to guys with size every time, right?
Cross lane pass, and there is a lot of contact that time. The big body of Dodd comes over, and the collision knocks Young to the floor.
Kevin Stallings might be saying, you know, is this flagrant here? He kind of looks at the official because this is pretty vociferous in the challenge by DeMonte Dodd, but I like it, you know. But I was a fan of the Knicks in the mid-'80s, so.
I think there'd have to be some intent attached to that.
Oh, no question. I think that's a good hard foul.
We were talking about how basketball has changed over the last couple decades today. The shoes, though, have reverted back to the lower, you know, the Patrick Ewing knee braces have gone away, if you want to talk about the Knicks. But the shoes have gone from high top back to low top.
I'd say it doesn't matter that Kobe Bryant is retired. You got a lot of guys. Now, this is the Under Armour side, so those are probably more like Steph Curry shoes. The blue guys and the Nike, a lot of Kobe's. A lot of guys rocking the Kobe's.
That was the 5th foul on DeMonte Dodd. So,
and can I just say something? Because I've heard now 2 announcers say this. Dick Vitale and somebody concurring with him. I think it was Corey last night. They want 6 fouls in college basketball. No. Absolutely, positively, no.
Herter turns it over. You win with freshmen, and they hope not, but teams that play young also lose with freshmen.
This is a game that's going to help them immensely, though. And I'm telling you, Maryland's going to be heard from before it's all said and done. There are a lot of good pieces on this team, Mike. I like this group. Pittsburgh as well, obviously. It goes, I think, you know, it goes without saying.
Picked 12th in the league. It speaks much more to the strength of the ACC than it does to what Pittsburgh brings to the table, because you have a coaching change, you have a lot of experience lost. Jones goes baseline, but I think that pick will prove to be too low.
The ACC, we have a great research department. They were talking about how good the ACC truly is. You've got some of the most efficient, in fact, 5 of the most efficient teams in college basketball in the ACC. This is a double-digit league, in my estimation, come postseason.
It's a viewpoint that is shared by you and many others this year, that it could rival that of the Big East, say, 5 years ago, sending 10 or more teams to the NCAA tournament.
You and I got a close-up look at the Fighting Irish. They look like an NCAA tournament team.
They are working on all cylinders right now, getting ready to take on Iowa in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. And Matt Farrell, very early on, has gone from a guy who a year ago was unsure of his future in South Bend, and now is the key cog for that team. Young has done a nice job helping to seal this game down the stretch at the free throw line.
He just gave us the shush sign, Michael Young.
Herter from 3. Offensive rebound, Tchaikovsky. You know, they went away from that lob that had been pretty effective for him, 16 last time out. Is that partially taken away by what Pittsburgh did defensively?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. A little bit of mustard on that dunk.
And other dunks we've seen this year, it's been enough to draw an extra whistle after what he did there to hang on the rim.
I think Mark Turgeon frustrated by his guys not playing that through.
Artist dribbles out the clock. Pittsburgh with a win, 6-1. The Terrapins are dealt their first loss of the year, 7-1. It'll be one they'll remember for weeks to come, but one that down the road will prove dividends for a young Terrapins team. Well, the highest scoring duo in the ACC, Michael Young and Jamel Artis, combined tonight for 47 points, 15 rebounds. How about it as the Panthers roll on the road? So for Doris Burke and our entire crew, Mike Cousins saying thanks for joining us. So long from College Park, Iowa and Notre Dame on tap. Now we go back to the studio.